Hello Primary 4 students. This video is done for you as revision on lesson 2, the human respiratory system. To understand the meaning of the respiration process, we have to answer this question. Why do you think we eat food? Of course, all of us know that we eat food in order to get energy. We need that energy in all our daily activities. Walking, running, playing, even talking. You need energy all the time. How can we get that energy? The energy is produced inside your body cells. Knew from lesson 1 that when you eat food, it passes through your digestive system and it's completely digested in the small intestine. When it's fully digested, the blood absorbs this digested food from the small intestine and carries it to all your body cells. Okay, so now your cells contain food. Can the cell produce the energy now? No, not yet, because something is missing inside the cells. That's the oxygen. The cell must contain both food and oxygen in order to produce the energy. Okay, so the food or the digested food comes from the digestive system. From where does the oxygen come? It comes from another system, which is today's lesson. This is the respiratory system. So now, after the blood carries the food from the digestive system and transport it to all your cells, and also the blood carries the oxygen from the respiratory system and transport it to the body cells, now the cell is ready to produce the energy. And this happens through a process known as the respiration process. So what is the respiration process? It is a process where the food changes into energy in presence of oxygen. The oxygen must be present. Again, what is the respiration process? It is the changing or the burning of food in presence of oxygen to produce the energy. So now we understand that all the systems are working together. The digestive system supplies our body cells with the digested food. The respiratory system supplies our body cells with the oxygen, while the circulatory system or the blood that you are going to study next year in details carries both food and oxygen and transport them to all your body cells to produce the energy needed. So again, the cells needs food and oxygen to change or burn that food into energy. But there are other materials produced with the energy. These materials are waste materials. Some of these waste materials are gases, like carbon dioxide gas and water vapor. And since they are waste materials, they are not needed by the body has to get rid of them. So again, the blood's going to carry those gases, which are wastes, and carries them back to the respiratory system to breathe them out, to get rid of them. Okay, now let's talk about the respiratory system. We knew from lesson 1 that each system in your body is formed of a group of organs. What are the organs of the respiratory system? The respiratory system starts with the nose. You remember the first organ in the digestive system? It was the mouth. Okay, after the nose comes the pharynx. Pharynx. Do you remember the word pharynx? Yes, it was also present in the digestive system. So the pharynx, it's a common organ which is present in both digestive system and respiratory system. After the pharynx, the larynx, or sometimes called the voice box. Then comes a tube known as trachea. At the end of the trachea, it is divided into two branches known as bronchi. Bronchi is a plural word. Each one of them is known as bronchus. Each bronchus enters a lung. How many lungs do we have? We have two lungs, right lung and left lung. So, each bronchus is divided into smaller branches inside the lungs known as bronchioles. Bronchioles. And at the end of each bronchiole, there are very tiny or small sacs known as alveoli. Look at the alveoli. They have a balloon. They are balloon-like structures or tiny sacs filled with air, and they are known as alveoli or air sacs. The last part in the respiratory system, it's a muscle and it's known as diaphragm. Diaphragm. We are going to talk about each organ in the respiratory system in details. But let me ask you first, where do you think your respiratory system exists in your body? We knew from lesson 1 that there was a cavity known as the abdominal cavity where most of the digestive organs lie. There is another cavity which is present above the abdominal cavity. This cavity is known as chest cavity or thoracic cavity, and this is where the respiratory system lies. So we have two cavities now, the chest cavity or thoracic cavity at the top, and this is where the respiratory system exists, and beneath the chest cavity, the abdominal cavity, and this is where most of the digestive system exists. Okay? Now, let's talk about the respiratory system. Your respiratory system or your lungs are surrounded by bones. These bones are called ribs. These are the ribs. They are bones, strong bones. Why are the two lungs surrounded by bones? To protect them, because the lungs are soft organs. They are very delicate. They are protected by those bones called ribs. They form a structure as this one in the picture. This is known as a rib cage because it looks like a cage, and from inside there are the two lungs protected. Now let's talk about each organ in the digestive system in details. Let's start with the nose. You can breathe through both your nose and your mouth, but it's better to breathe through your nose. Why? Because your nose contains three things: hairs, mucus layer, and blood capillaries. What's the importance of the hairs and the mucus layer inside your nose? They filter the air from dust and microbes, because the air entering your nose is not completely clean. It has to be filtered out of any dust particles or microbes before entering the lungs to protect your lungs from any diseases or infections by those microbes. The mucus layer is a sticky membrane where any dust particles or microbes can stick to it and prevent it from reaching your lungs. Okay, what about the blood capillaries? Blood capillaries are very thin vessels or pipelines where blood flows. Since the blood that flows in your blood capillaries is warm, when the air passes by those blood capillaries, it becomes warm. So the importance of the blood capillaries inside your nose is to warm the air before entering the lungs, so it will not cause any painful sensation if the air was cold. So a very important question here. Give reason why it's better to breathe through the nose and not through the mouth. The answer is because the nose contains hair and mucus. They filter the air from any dust or microbes, and it also contains the blood capillaries to warm the air before